is time to get raw. It is time to get down. It is time for the RAWDOWN, the number one source for all things WWE, right here at the Turnbuckle Tavern. I'm your host, Young Anthony, and I'm joined with my co-host, the MVP Marco of the Chick Foley Show. We're doing a two-man tonight. Yep. Old J-Bone is caught doing his whatever he does. I don't even know.
We're boneless tonight.
We are very boneless tonight. Boneless wings. But we still got meat to us, god damn it. Marco, what do you got going on? How's everything doing?
Everything's going good. We actually have a new episode coming out. I'll definitely plug it at the end of the show, but we talk about some things. We actually have a mailbag episode.
Ooh.
So I think it's like 2 hours, just like answering questions. It was really fun. It was a good one. Well, like I said, we'll talk about it a little bit later. But yeah, that's what we got going on. I was gonna have J-Bone on this week for open mic, but I kind of dropped the ball. I was like, damn, I forgot to ask J-Bone. Yeah. But oh well, we'll reschedule it another time.
Yeah, there's always other times. But yeah, and of course, follow the Turnbuckle Tavern wherever you can. You'll learn all about all the fun ways that you can support the Turnbuckle Tavern later on at the end of tonight's episode, whenever you're listening to us. This should be a fun one. There's some things that I'm excited to talk about. There's some things I'm not excited to talk about. We'll be previewing the 30th anniversary of Raw tonight. We'll be giving some of our predictions on what we think is going to happen. Marco has a pretty bold prediction tonight, as he normally does have a bold prediction. Also, Cody Rhodes announces his return to the Royal Rumble a week before I predicted it would happen. I'm sure we're going to be talking about Cody coming back to the Rumble, our thoughts on that. But before we do anything, I think it's only right that we, acknowledge, rest in peace to Jay Briscoe. Fuck.
Yeah. I
read that tweet. Funny enough, I learned that it happened from the group chat for the tavern. I read the tweet and I was like, no way. Must have been some type of great edit on Twitter. There's no way it happened. I look on Twitter and
yep.
Nikan tweeted about it. Meltzer tweeted about it. And I was like, what a fucking world we live in. That something like that just happens.
Yeah.
Out of the blue.
So it was rough. We kind of touched on it at the beginning because it actually happened at the night we were recording. So, we at the beginning, we kind of, we didn't delve too deep into it, but we, obviously acknowledged his passing and, gave our thoughts and all that stuff. And yeah, no, it's always rough when, like you said, when something like this happens out of nowhere. It's like so shocking. Like it's young, super, really young. It's always it's a tragedy. That's how you can put it as. It's gone too soon.
One of I think they put it on the flagship best that he's one of the best wrestlers. If I could somehow tie it to WWE, one of the best wrestlers who never went to WWE.
Yep. Yeah.
You look at it as just a list of accomplishments: 13-time ROH Tag Champion, 2-time Ring of Honor World Champion.
Yep.
Countless tag championships with Mark. He was just the House of Glory champion here in New York. Put on a really, really great match at the last show against the Main Event.
Yeah.
God. It's left speechless. There is the one thing that I can kind of I'm not, I could sit here and just talk about how great of a wrestler he was and all of that. I'll be honest. I was never a huge ROH watcher to begin with. I only really started during the pandemic when I got a TV in my room and all of a sudden I have a channel that plays reruns of recent episodes of ROH. So that was my first real introduction to consistently watching ROH. But what I can say in the vein of wrestling is just like it's been mentioned a few times on the, different shows. I know Tom and Mike have talked about it multiple times, but I'll say it here. Just a piece of advice for any wrestling fan. If you ever get the chance to see someone who you were even slightly interested in seeing, just take that chance. Because I was at Mania weekend this past year, last year really, and only a few hours, I think it was like 2.5 hours before the Ring of Honor show, I finally just purchased the tickets. And honestly, that was probably a better decision than watching WrestleMania that weekend, because I got to see probably the greatest match I've ever witnessed live in FTR and Briscoes. One still holds up as the fucking greatest match I've seen live. So if you ever get that chance to see someone that you might not get the chance to see, be it, they don't wrestle in your area, or, they're whatever it may be, just take the chance, because I did it. I don't regret it. And at least I can say that I watched the Briscoes wrestle at least live once. So
I can't say that.
Everyone's mentioned how, just great of a person he was outside of wrestling. You see the tweets, you see all the messages. Shame.
It's and obviously because it's a WWE show. I mean, the cool thing about that was like on NXT they actually announced it live while it was not while it happened, but they acknowledged the passing of Jay Briscoe, and they sent their condolences and stuff, which I thought NXT was taped. Apparently it isn't. It was live. They actually came out and said that, and obviously then you see more of the outpouring from not just like WWE, but like literally anyone that he's come in contact with, like Tommaso Ciampa. If you ever read his post about him, him being intimidated by Jay Briscoe, and and then finding out he's like one of the nicest guys ever, and he's like he pulled from Jay Briscoe a lot of his heel work. In like around 2015, 2016, the WWE is actually looking to bring them into like NXT, or I'm not sure the main roster or whatever, but they were looking to recruit the Briscoes at one point. And if you think about it, around that time is when the Usos changed their gimmick to like the Uso Penitentiary. And anytime I seen a Briscoes promo, and then I see like the Usos after that, they pulled from the Briscoes. Like every time I see, everyone always compares the Young Bucks and the Usos. No, for me it was always the Briscoes and the Usos. Those are, I think, if they were going to sign to the WWE, that match was going to happen. It was going to be those guys going at each other, and you can tell like now when you watch Jay most of all, like you'll see Jay Briscoe in Jay Uso when you see him cut his promo. I was actually watching my son was watching the Sami Zayn, when they're feuding or whatever, and that I don't give a damn about the tribal chief, like that whole thing, like that's literally like if you watch Jay Briscoe like promo, that's literally Jay Briscoe. Like it's like not that he stole from, but he you can tell that they pulled from the Briscoes as their like inspiration for what they are now.
If you really go in, you could tell a lot of wrestlers have pulled from the Briscoes way of doing promos, or even a little bit of their wrestling, which is so hard because they're so unique that even if you do pull something from them, it's like that it's a Briscoe thing, which goes to show you how unique really they are as wrestlers. And man, and
Jay was the one that actually tweeted out to sends its condolences to Jay Briscoe. So like him just doing that, acknowledging that kind of clicked with me there, because I've always thought that for years and years. Ever since they did that changeover to the Uso Penitentiary and all that stuff, I was like, they're just becoming the like what WWE couldn't sign at the time, or whatever happened at the time. So I was like, just take the gimmick and make it yours. But I always compared the two. But man, it's these times are rough, especially when you like you see this person, and he was like on the cusp. We kind of talked about this on the Chick-fil-A show. He's like, not that he was not known already, the Briscoes or Jay Briscoe, but like right now, like him, like not like him. He's probably going to be on AEW at some point, so he's going to get that television exposure.
Yeah,
like he was on the cusp of just skyrocketing at some like it was almost there. You could definitely see it.
yeah,
Just like the matches that happened, and then it was going to happen. Like he was just going to show up. They're both going to show up on AEW, probably challenge FTR, have a match there, and obviously that's not happening. But yeah, I mean, it sucks for us fans too because we're not going to get to see another magical moment between the Briscoes and FTR again. It's his for his family, him not being around them, and them having to think about what's next. Essentially, that's another tough thing to do. So, yeah.
What I'll leave you with is my favorite, favorite Briscoe promo that I've gone back and I watched a lot of the Briscoe promos in like the last few days or so. They're all over Twitter, but one of them that I watched in the lead up to the first FTR Briscoes match. I forget what they were exactly talking about, but they were like, calling out FTR. And I think at one point Jay's calling out Tony Khan, and he's like, Tony Khan, you could come over here. You could bring your private jet, park that shit out in the cornfield. My awful impression, but
so good.
That line was so good. I remember, I don't remember like when, forget. I got to go back and watch that one now because that was one of my favorite just lines. Just park that shit in the cornfield.
Well, they had the few years back when they did the NWA did the Crockett Cup, and they did like all the all the tag teams and stuff like that. That was another. Yeah, if you definitely get a chance, I want to say it was maybe 2018, 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
Go back and watch some of that. Definitely recommend that. Definitely, if you can find them, which you probably will, definitely watch their promo battles with Enzo and Big Cass and Tama Tonga and the Girls of Destiny. It was like a 3-way like promo battle that they're all like they're sending videos to each other on Twitter. Some of the most entertaining stuff you'll ever see.
There's stuff in GCW too. I mean, Mike was just talking about it yesterday on the wrap up, like how great of a year it's been with the tavern, to call and to cover all of these GCW shows. And, the Briscoes were definitely a huge part of that. I mean, in this last year, they went viral for the whole door stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that just goes to show you like how wild they really were. So, we could go on and on all episode talking about Jay Briscoe memories, but we have a list of shitty topics that we have to get to because we're a WWE show. So until then, hug someone you love. Make sure that, make sure they know that they are loved and all of that because it's important.
Yeah.
It's very important. Rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. I hate to bore you now, but we have some WWE topics to talk about. Let's just fucking get right into it.
Outside the ropes.
I don't want to talk about this at all. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care. I'm so sick of this Vince shit. I get it. He's coming back. He's slowly taking full control of the company. They are just prolonging the story as much as they physically fucking can, and I don't care anymore. Marco, what happened now? I'll let you post outside the ropes this time.
I mean, the only thing I seen was he's been settling some he's been paying off some settlements, we'll say.
Yes.
That we'll just leave it at that.
Happy fucking days for him.
Yeah. One very old incident that happened back in the 80s.
Yeah.
You can go research it, whatever you want to do, but
Yeah, we won't.
that's been taken care of.
Obviously, won't talk about that because last time we didn't. So,
and I know Nick Khan did I think he did an interview recently on what the heck is that podcast? I forget. Super popular. Why am I forgetting the name? Anyway, he basically said like, if this is any indication of what you said, that Vince is slowly taking over. He's basically just like, he's like, obviously I'm the like CEO. He's like, but to me, there's only one boss. And I was like, oh, there it is. That tells you right there. It's Vince McMahon's the boss. And they're doing most of the stuff just to like sweeten up the whatever pending sales gonna happen in the future. I mean, that's kind of died down if you really think about it. It hasn't really been spoken of since the last time we spoke about it. So, I mean, like we said, you just can't buy shit and it's somebody's. It's like, oh, there you go, sales all done. It's a long process if it is happening, and the good thing is Triple H is still in power as far as the creative things are. So,
well, that's something that we can bring up, I guess. It's that there have been 2 talent meetings, one on Friday, one on Monday, where Triple H has ensured the talent that Vince is not, tampering whatsoever with the creative. And of course, then there are rumors that come up that, Vince is already suggesting things for creative. I think it's just very telling. You have your meeting on Friday.
Yep.
With Triple H saying, oh, Vince isn't getting involved in the creative at all. It's best for business. He tells them, and like, this isn't just SmackDown talent that we're talking about, because I saw like the OC was there,
everybody.
A who's who was there. So everyone was there. Everyone was called to this meeting. So they have the meeting on Friday to tell them, yeah, Vince isn't getting involved. Don't worry about it. So why'd they have to have another meeting on Monday?
Because they probably heard
of the fucking weekend that they had when more Vince news came out that it right after the Friday meeting, then it gets brought out. Oh, Vince is now suggesting things to creative. So Triple H has to have another meeting.
Yeah.
Let me ensure you once again. Like, come on.
He has to have the so basically, it was something like, Vince would, the rumors are, and, he's going to suggest things to Triple H, but Triple H has the final say in what the creative direction is. That's what I read anyway. And that's what I think, I think he actually said that or something like that. Basically, like, he could suggest things, but I could just be like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm only going to watch for the, if anyone's going to leave or be released. That's how he's taken over again, is when people start disappearing.
Does he have the power to do that, Vince?
I don't think so. I think obviously Nick Khan's the CEO,
right?
Vince McMahon's just the head of the. So he's there for the sale essentially.
Right.
His job there is for the brand deals, whatever sales deals happen. That's what he's there for. He's the head of executive, the executive chair, or whatever. So that has nothing to do. That's all business. That's nothing to do with like the actual like production and all that, like the TV stuff and the traveling and all that.
Nobody is bigger than this business.
But yeah, so that and then wasn't there something else that someone got like? Oh no, we talked about that last week. He brought it as 2 people that were fired already.
All this is fucking just merging into each other.
It's good. So I was like, did we talk about that? Oh yeah, we did talk about that
already, because that's where we're getting to.
So here's our telltale sign is if Brock shows up at the Rumble. Brock shows up at the Rumble, Vince is back.
Well, that was another thing that I'm hearing now, that Brock only wants his matches to be like booked by Vince. Is that like, that was something I saw on Twitter?
I didn't see that. No.
I mean, I don't even remember where I saw it from, but
I saw it
somewhere.
Okay.
Remembering what happened when the whole thing started, when Vince said, "I'm 77. It's time to step down, pal."
Yeah.
And Brock leaves the arena. I mean, would you really put it past him to be like, I'll only be accepting my bookings from Big Vinny over there.
Well, there's that, and then there's the Bobby Lashley booking. That match with Bobby Lashley.
Well, that ain't a knee slapper, buddy.
If that's any indication of why he doesn't want anyone else booking him, I agree with that. Let Vince do it. Let Vince book Brock in his matches, if that's the case.
Brock's a wild card in these next few months. I wonder, I'm hearing Brock versus Gunther could be happening at Mania.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm interested in that.
Well, Brock's whole thing is that he only, he's only motivated when he's someone that he's, interested in wrestling. That's it. So, I mean, is he interested in wrestling Gunther?
I mean, I'm interested in it.
Oh, I'm interested in.
I
feel like Gunther's gonna have to. He's just gonna pull it out of Brock.
Definitely.
Match.
Oh, it's gonna be like a shoot match. It's gonna be like him and Sheamus. It's like a Gunther and Sheamus. They're gonna beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, and Brock's gonna sell for him, man.
And he's probably gonna kick the shit out of Imperium too. That's the other thing. We get to see him fucking suplex City, both members, and do all that stuff. So
now hold on, because thankfully we're stepping away from this Vince news with this Brock talk. So I'll keep this train going. WrestleMania, you have two options for Brock Lesnar. What would you do with him? A, book him against Gunther, or B, book him against Lashley in a third match in the Hell in a Cell.
Ooh.
And give him time to have a crazy match.
If Vince books it, yes, I'll go with the Lashley Hell in a Cell match at Mania.
Okay.
If Triple H is booked, Triple H is going to book the Gunther versus Brock. So either way, I'm fine with it. But I want to see. I kind of want to see him and Lashley again, kind of just so they can get an actual match and not some freaking microwave match that they did.
Yeah, every match that they've had like a fuck finish.
Yeah, it's like they're both like cardio machines. They both can go longer than 10 minutes. Why are they getting only 5 to 10 minutes? I want to see them go 15, 20. I know they can. I mean, I watched Bobby Lashley do it on Monday. Right. I watched him wrestle a bunch of dudes. That the main event, that was over. It was 35 minutes almost, that match.
I would love to see. I mean, we're talking about Lashley, and we just saw on Raw, and we're already kind of skipping around here, but Raw, we're starting to see the seeds being planted for the Hurt Business coming back with Omos. So
business is booming. It might be booming anyway.
Yeah, I would love to see just what they were doing a little bit with Bobby and Goldberg when the Hurt Business came together for a day.
Yeah.
I would love to see a proper Brock versus Hurt Business story with Omos in the mix of things.
Okay.
Brock versus Omos? I don't know. That's kind of interesting to me. I'm not gonna
I can see that.
Do that in Saudi Arabia. I'll be fine with it.
I can see that. I can see that happening.
But what do I
like it.
Anyways, what were we talking about? Vince. Anything more on Vince?
That's all I seen was him taking care of his pending cases.
What's the thing that happened with the SEC? Fuck, I gotta look it up now.
There was a few lawsuits against him.
Yes. Well, no. He no longer needs the stockholder approval of his actions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sued him for that.
Yeah, but then there's a couple. I know he had a couple of people sue him for basically what's happening now, the impending sale of the WWE. They think it's basically I forget what the case is, the actual how it's written out, but it in a nutshell, it's basically he's imposing his will. He basically bullied his way back into the board, and they're suing him for that cause. There's more detail to it if you look it up, but I know some was like the Detroit Fire Department or something like that was suing him.
Something like that, yeah.
Some craziness. And then there was someone else. I think the next member of the board is actually suing him for the same exact thing. And that's the only way you can actually kind of like stop a sale from happening is if you just, you know, bar him behind all these different lawsuits.
Yeah.
That'll slow down the sale if it is going to happen anyway. Maybe no one's making money off of this. Maybe that's why they're trying to stop it. Maybe he's the only one that's going to solely make the majority of the money because he has most of the shares. So if a sales happens, he's getting paid. I don't think anyone else is getting as paid as he is.
No.
So
Definitely not.
we'll see.
You know, like it's not that I don't care because I do. Like, you know, Vince coming back, huge story, yada, yada, yada. It's just, this is all we have talked about for months, and it's never going to fucking end.
It's a great storyline for the WWE right now.
Oh, it's a great, you know, this makes me put my tinfoil hat on. You know, I remember right before Cody left AEW, he was talking about this type of storytelling that had never been done before.
Yeah.
I wonder, I don't know. Ever since Cody's been here, you've had Sasha Naomi, you've had Vince leaving, you've had Stephanie coming into office and then leaving, you've had fucking, what else has happened behind the, maybe this is just great storytelling.
It's like just blurring the lines between real and fake.
This is everything that AEW wanted to do, but Cody left. So once they saw you know, Vince was stepping down in storyline, they were like, "Oh shit, we got to pull something out." And they did the whole all out situation.
Oh, that's
it's all coming together.
That's still on the back burner too, if you think about it.
Yeah.
There's still, you know, people thinking that, you know, CM Punk's coming back, and
I'm slowly thinking that Punk might come back. If he comes back, I only see it if FTR stays too. I think that's the only way that I see Punk coming back.
Yeah, but they're taking they're on a leave for a few.
Yeah, that, you know, I just don't know. I really don't know when it comes to them. Like, that leave really throws me off a little bit.
That's scary because they're like, you know, if you read that post, he's like, yeah, you know, we're just gonna, you know, plan and see what's next for us in the future. It's like, what is that? What does that mean?
Like, would Tony give them, you know, like, would he agree on a leave if he knew that they were unhappy with the company? Like, I feel like that to me is almost like, you know, FTR being like,
I mean, he let Regal go.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, something about that. I just don't know if Tony would give, especially after the whole Regal stuff. I don't know if he would be like, oh, you know, you're considering leaving. Well, take time off to think about it.
Yeah, I was right too. That's another thing we talked about. Regal did an interview, and he said basically when he went to AEW, he thought he was going to have more of a backstage role. He didn't want to be on air talent. Like he just like he went there thinking like, you know, I'm going to be there. I'm going to, you know, help produce, you know, whatever storylines, you know, talk to the talent, blah, blah, blah. But then he ended up being a actual on-air talent, and that's something he didn't want to do. He wanted, you know, be behind the scenes.
Chad says Dax is really hurt. Needs a couple months off. Torn labrum, broken tailbone, which is true.
Just beat
Cash isn't hurt though. He could get in the fucking ring.
Yeah.
singles push for Cash. No, I'm kidding. That's true. I honestly forgot that. You know, they were.
Yeah, that's right.
Still, I don't know. It's interesting. Very, very interesting.
Seen something we never seen before. That's
Their contract's up in April.
It's a few months from now.
Right around WrestleMania season.
And then Dax did post a video on his Instagram with FTRKO. He's like, oh, basically like one of my favorite times in WWE was when he formed FTRKO.
Yeah, he's been talking a lot on that old podcast about NXT days, FTRKO, which was a very underrated time for them.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't see, honestly, if we're
I don't see it.
Yes, it's fun to speculate. I don't see that happening. I don't I don't see it.
Monday after Mania, the Raw
I'll
after
accept it
Mania.
if it happens. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll go back to calling them the Revival.
Yeah.
Like, would they have to go back to what were their names? Fuck. Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder?
Dash Wilder and Scott. Yeah. Was it?
Wow, look at me.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, look at that.
Oh, Barry Harwood.
No flips, just kicks. No flips, just
fists.
Just fists, that's it.
Say yeah.
Say yeah.
Do they have to go back to those names? Like, do they have access to Dax and the cash? Or
I don't know.
No. Oh fuck. Okay, maybe you do stay in AEW with those. The Revival. Stay yeah. What were we talking about, Vince? Anything else with Vince?
Yeah, I think we're done.
Vince.
I think we're done with Vince.
We're gonna have to have a serious meeting at the RAWDOWN to really consider. Okay, a Vince story is out this week. Do we really have to talk about it? And honestly, I'm always going to vote. It is always going to be the vote for if we talk about a Vince story is always going to be 1 no, 0 yes to start off with, and then you and J-Bone can continue. It will always be 1-0 no to start.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's there's really nothing else to talk about. I mean, unless something
There's
super
always-
crazy.
there's
I mean,
always-
that's true. I mean,
we can brush upon this Nick Khan interview. You mentioned some of it before. He said, here's some highlights of that interview. He said that the Saudi Arabia deal was a complete and utter rumor. It was just speculation. Complete rumor, had no substance to it, complete bullshit. Not only was that, and that wasn't even the biggest thing he said in that interview.
yeah, no, it wasn't. No.
You know, something about Tony Khan, something about Nick Khan. He has these interviews like maybe once every 6 months.
Yeah.
He like pops up from the shadows out of nowhere just to drop something for you. And it's always just the most ridiculous, the most just like mind-blowing stuff. And then, so not only does he say that the whole Saudi Arabia deal was speculation, he also goes on to say that he has never met Tony Khan in his life. He seems like a nice kid, I think is the way.
I do remember reading that.
So now I ask you, do you believe that the Saudi Arabia deal was just speculation? Do you think there was anything, with substance to this deal? And do you also believe that he has never met Tony Khan? Have they ever crossed paths, had a conversation, cup of coffee?
So I think, and I'm gonna reference this to what I said about the Sasha Banks thing,
Mercedes
Moné showing up on AEW Dynamite. Someone just took something that would make that would get everyone all hyped up and all run into Twitter and tweet like crazy or whatever social media outlet you have, and that's what they did. I think because the standing deals that WWE has with Saudi Arabia, the shows that they're doing, the hatred towards it. I think if you or I just dropped a tweet and we're like, oh, what deal's happening with Saudi Arabia, that would have took off like crazy. Like we would have viral if we did that, just because of the history of obviously what happens in Saudi Arabia, the WWE, the blood money, all that stuff. So if anyone was going to take a tweet and go or whatever post and say, hey, WWE's gonna have a deal with Saudi Arabia, they're looking to buy the company, that people are gonna believe it.
Yeah.
Automatically, just because of the like I said, the hatred towards it. as well as they already they have deals. I mean, they've been having deals in place, multi-year deals with them, so they're already doing business. So it's kind of like almost hand in hand. If there was a deal, you think he's going to tell you? If there was a deal in place, he's like, "Oh yeah, there was a deal on the table, but we politely declined." No, he's not going to say that. Yeah. That's the other side of it. There could have been a deal. We'll never know. I mean, there could still be a deal because he did say back, I think it was like last year, around WrestleMania when he did another interview, which was last year, around this time I think, or before WrestleMania. He did mention that they were fielding, playing the field, seeing what offers they would take or what offers they would get. So that could be one. I'm going to say this. I entirely think they definitely do them a deal. Like, come on. They've already been doing business with them. They threw a number out there already. Hey, we'll buy it for this much. Okay, all right. So now they're going to like look around like, oh, what does NBC Universal have? What does Disney have? Mm-hmm. What is, what was the other one? Was it Comcast? Was a possibility. Yeah. So I think there was a deal on the table. He's just not going to say it. Was there a sale happening? No, they weren't going to. There was no like finalized like honorary whatever they say deal on the table. No, there's definitely an offer
was happening. I was about to give up on all hope. I was like, well,
yeah, I definitely think there was a deal, like not a deal, an offer. I think there was an offer from them, but he's not going to come out and say it.
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
I don't know. The more that this whole sale fiasco is happening, the more I'm kind of leaning towards Disney.
Yeah, it's. I think I said back. Oh my god! Yeah, like what did this like? All this talk started happening like 2020, maybe 2019 ish. Something happened where there was like a rumor that there was gonna.
I think once Nick Khan came in.
Yeah. So there was some rumors, not even really rumors of a sale happening. It was more or less like if they were to sell or they're doing these things to prop themselves up for a sale. I mean, I always said Disney was probably like the one to do ESPN, but ESPN's obviously owned by Disney. Mm-hmm. But because they had the deal, they have deals with ESPN, like the 30 for 30 and all that stuff, and like I said, A&E and all these. Most of these companies are owned by Disney essentially. Yeah. So, I mean, they have one deal with Saudi Arabia, which is those shows, but they have multiple deals and multiple revenue coming from pretty much the Disney. I mean, yeah, I could see that happening. Isn't it kind of that thing that week with the head of Disney and the head of ESPN,
Bob Iger, and the head of ESPN?
Yeah, I think that's happening.
That's the turning point for me. That was where I started thinking Disney's.
And I'll give you another tidbit. Vince McMahon, I forget what. I think it was on one of those documentaries. We make movies. He said he sees WWE as Disney. Mm-hmm. Like it's its own. That's why they call it the WWE universe.
Right. So
he always seen like WWE as the the umbrella and all these characters under it. That's why you have all these like larger than life personalities and characters and all this stuff. That's what he was going for, is kind of make like a wrestling Disney. He wants
to make movies.
And he is. He's in the wrestling world. Vince McMahon is technically like a Walt Disney. He did create all these memorable characters, memorable moments, all this stuff. So it's almost like hand in hand. You can totally see like how they would market. The ladies would be like Disney princesses and all these like all this type of stuff. They already have like this wrestling. It's not on Disney, but they have this animated movie with it's like these like monsters that wrestle, and Roman Reigns does a voice as one of them and all this stuff. So like, it'll happen. I think that's more of like I moved my percentage clock up to 70%. I think for Disney.
That's becoming my favorite segment on the RAWDOWN, is like
the percentage.
Your knowledge through what your kids are watching.
Yeah.
I can always rely on you to get the latest, what are they watching off of the Peacock or the latest Bluey news,
You see these things, it's like, oh, they did this. It's like, oh, like WWE does they did like a cartoon crossover with, fucking like Scooby Doo or some shit. It's like,
Yeah.
that's all. It's for the kids, dude. Disney's a perfect place for WWE. I mean, as far as like the characters go,
Can always rely on you for the
I try. I mean, I try to.
cartoons.
Dude,
Which
I
is
piece
weird,
things
'cause you should
together.
rely on me for that since I'm the young one.
I
but
know.
That's the perks of having kids, I guess. But regardless.
But then,
So I
obviously,
think that's it for Outside the Ropes.
yeah.
Fun segment. It is great to talk one more time about Vince.
Yeah, I mean, it's Vince. I mean,
It's fucking Vince, all right.
he's the god of wrestling. I mean, one of, if not the. So I mean, you can't talk about wrestling without talking about.
First of all, there's only
Vincent
one
Kennedy.
wrestling god, and that's John Bradshaw Layfield.
Oh, that was about Baron Corbin. Was he?
Oh well, now it's him. Well, he's the
He's a
modern day wrestling god.
Isn't Moose an Impact?
Oh, don't forget Moose. Yeah,
Yeah, he's a wrestling god as well. But the god of wrestling, I'm saying,
good call there. Good call.
Is Vince McMahon.
All right, let's transition to our next segment.
Collar and elbow.
I didn't really have a clever transition for that next segment. It's collar and elbow. We're inside the ring. And one of the main things that we're going to be talking about is the announcement of a surprise entrant into the Royal Rumble. And it's someone that we've been talking about for weeks now.
Yeah.
And so I called it. I called that it was going to happen, but they were a week early. And Cody Rhodes announced that he is entering the Royal Rumble. He announced it in his little promo that he did.
Yep.
And yeah, so now, of course, people are finding stuff to complain about, saying that it wasn't a surprise entrance. They should have just left it as a surprise. However, WrestleVotes on Twitter mentioned that they decided not to keep it a surprise for two reasons. One, because everyone basically knew that it was going to happen anyways.
Yeah.
Two, because they are quite pleased with the other surprises that they have in store. So, I open the floor to you. One, do you feel that they should have kept it as a surprise? Are you disappointed that they didn't? And two, I was going to ask you, what are the other surprises that you see them being proud of that they have in store? But I mean, I would assume it's who we've been talking about for damn months now. So I guess you can answer that first question for me. Are you okay with them just announcing this? Would you rather it be a surprise?
It's not. It wasn't going to be a surprise if he showed up. He's going to show up. He's going to be in the Rumble.
Well,
if you're a wrestling fan, like you're not going to be surprised by Cody Rhodes showing up at the Royal Rumble. Like that's you're not going to top. Like for me, a surprise would be like someone that's been away for like years and years that you would not think would show up, that you had no clue was going to show up. That's a surprise. If you have any inkling of someone showing up to a Rumble or being that's not a surprise to me. Like Edge, you're not going to top that. Even if Cody Rhodes, even if they didn't say anything and Cody Rhodes showed up, he's not getting a bigger pop than Edge did in 2020 when he returned at the Rumble. Like that, you're chasing ghosts at that point. If you're going to go for that. So I like the fact that they did that. They did this, and you got to kind of remind people too, he's obviously people aren't going to forget about Cody Rhodes, but he had this whole run that was supposed to happen after his series with Seth Rollins, and he's probably going to ease into the title picture at some point, but obviously he got injured and, it kept him away. So people forget sometimes. So I like that they did these video things. So you kind of remember the processes, all that stuff that happened to him. And, it leads up into the Rumble. And you kind of called that out already. You knew once they showed those promo videos that it was leading somewhere. Like, you're just gonna like do 2 video promos and not say what's gonna happen after, just cut it, not even air anymore. That's stupid. No, I'm sick of the surprise thing too. That's the other thing. Stop it. We live in a day and age where you can't keep things secret anymore. You can't get mad if you find out about a secret, especially when it comes to wrestling, because it's your fault. Because you go on social media, not you, Anthony, but you out there, you go on social media and you read all these things, and then you get pissed off that you're not surprised anymore because you went out and searched that information. It's stupid.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah.
Definitely a way to look at it. That, I mean, even the surprises that are kept a surprise, you still have people on social media announcing it and revealing it and saying, "Oh, here's fucking."
And then at that point,
backstage.
Yeah, it doesn't become a surprise anymore. It's more anticipation. So you're not feeling surprised when that person shows up. It's more of like you're anticipating because you know what's going to happen. CM Punk, for instance,
right?
Like everyone knew that was going to happen. It wasn't a surprise. So it became more of anticipation than it did him being a surprise showing up. So
no, that's a good point.
Out there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care that it was announced. It was smart that they announced it because it's like you need to figure out what you want when you're a wrestling fan, and you need to just like people. I hate when people fantasy book.
Yeah,
they don't know how to do it. They don't understand that when you're fantasy booking for WWE. When you're fantasy booking for WWE compared to AEW, that's 2 completely different ways that you can be fantasy booking. For AEW, there's a lot more flexibility because AEW Dynamite is damn near a super show every week. They give you these fantastic matchups. They give you, like, we just saw Danielson going up against Bandito this week.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing match. And we're still going to keep getting those matches.
Yep.
Because that's the kind of booking that AEW gives the hardcore fans. It's that, what's that? We have all these great wrestlers under contract. Oh, what's that? They know how to wrestle. And when we put them against each other, they're going to have great matches. Let's do it. That's the booking philosophy for AEW. And you mix in all the stories, but you're still giving all these dream matches.
Yep.
So, you're given a lot more flexibility when you're fantasy booking all these, Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson dream matches. When you're talking about WWE, even with the Triple H takeover, you still need to be realistic. You're not going to have a million surprises in every in the Royal Rumble, because that's just not the way it can work. If you have Cody Rhodes come out at number 15 as a surprise, right? And then you have The Rock come out as number 30 as a surprise. Now you are setting up one of these wrestlers for failure right from the start. Obviously, that wrestler is going to be Cody.
Yeah.
The right mind would not want The Rock to win the Royal Rumble.
True.
I mean, you can't just load up your. I always I bring up the analogy of like when people fantasy book that they want one of the dumbest points of wrestling fantasy booking was around like 2018, 2019 when Bray Wyatt, Finn Balor, Aleister Black, Nikki Cross, Seth, all of them were all on the roster, and everyone was like, what would be great
if they were in a faction?
We're all together. What?
Doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work like that, pal.
Get
on your TEWs and your EWRs, and you can book the shit out of that. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So I would never put. That's why if people are always like, "Oh, I could book the WWE better than they book it," nope, probably can't. Except for me, I know how to book WWE. I know how to book WWE. Marco, I know how to book WWE. My predictions on RAWDOWN have been almost spot on to like what you would see on WWE. What's going on, Ivan? Thank you for joining us. So yes, you don't announce Cody Rhodes because you obviously have other surprises. If anything, that should make you more pumped for the Royal Rumble because in your mind, you're supposed to be thinking, wait a second. So they announced Cody Rhodes. I'm usually led to believe as a fan that means there's still going to be surprises.
Yeah.
I wonder who could be bigger than Cody Rhodes. But no.
Nope, that's not how. No.
Why didn't I get Cody Rhodes as a surprise? It makes no sense. They could have just threw him in the match, and I'm not watching that.
It's viewership, it's sales, it's all this. They're thinking business. That's the thing that wrestling fans don't think of. They think of the matches. They think of the, like you said, the fantasy booking aspect. They don't think of the actual, revenue that goes with it, the ad like dollars that have to go into a Royal Rumble, how the production's gonna look, all that. That's what WWE's thinking of. And knowing that Cody Rhodes is gonna be there that's the least of their worries.
Yeah.
Right now. They're like, the smart thing to do is say that Cody Rhodes is gonna be there, because now it's gonna be like, holy shit, we're gonna be in attendance at the return of Cody Rhodes. Like the guy that left us wrestling fans had our hearts in a chokehold with that bruised, pec and swollen arm and all that stuff. Like, this guy is passionate about wrestling, and we're gonna see his glorious return. It's gonna be at the Royal Rumble. That's how most wrestling fans should be thinking of it. But no.
Yeah, I know.
But even with the John Cena thing, why'd they announce John Cena at SmackDown? It's fucking ratings. People are gonna watch because they know John Cena is gonna be on TV in a match with Roman Reigns. Like, it's gonna be John Cena and Roman Reigns. You announced John Cena for that Friday. They pulled the highest viewership that they've had
since the pandemic.
Yeah, like.
Yep. Yeah.
Come on, people.
Like, if you think that the biggest surprise for this Royal Rumble was just announced, and you think that's it,
yeah,
I don't know.
Mistaken.
I don't know what you're thinking. That's like WWE just saying, you know what, you remember they're sitting all in their conference room and they're thinking, all right, it's time to book the Royal Rumble. What are we going to do? And Triple H is sitting at the head of the table and he goes, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. You guys remember the Royal Rumble from 2014? Yeah. Well, let's just replace Batista and we'll just put in Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Announce him ahead of time, make him a threat in the Rumble match, and let him win. Let's be real. They're announcing Cody. He's not going to win.
No.
That's just setting Cody up for failure if they do that.
Yeah.
So obviously there's more to it.
Yep.
Even if it's not The Rock, that makes me think, well, if they can't get The Rock, who do they have? Because if you don't have The Rock, then wouldn't you have announced Cody? So the fact that they're still announcing Cody makes me think, even if they don't have The Rock, somebody's coming out. Maybe it's Austin. Maybe it's Cena.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Logan Paul. I don't know. It's someone. So, in conclusion,
maybe it's Matt Cardona.
Maybe it's Matt Cardona. He just trademarked Zack Ryder, which I think is hilarious.
Oh wow, okay.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, he filed for trademark on Zack Ryder. I think he's just doing it for shits and giggles. So in conclusion, wrestling fans, give it time.
Yeah. Not everything has to be a surprise.
Not everything has to be.
It just, some things have to be announced in order to gain interest to things.
People always talk about, oh, I don't want to be treated like I'm dumb. I don't want to be treated like I have a fed brain. Well, there you go.
You know what would have happened if they didn't announce Cody Rhodes, and then he shows up at the Rumble? Twitter would blow. Oh, that's a surprise. Whoa, that's not a. I thought it was gonna be The Rock. Oh, what the hell?
We all knew he was gonna come.
Yeah, we all knew he was gonna be there. Yeah, that's
This match sucks.
Yeah, this match
We all
sucks
knew he was
already.
gonna come.
No Rock. Oh, this sucks. Why they should announce Cody Rhodes? We already know he's gonna come back already.
Might as well just announced him. I mean,
Yeah, no, see,
we all
it's
knew he was coming back.
yeah, that's exactly what would have happened.
Hope Shane books the Rumble this year. Anyway,
Shane could return. That could be the
fuck
surprise.
Shane. Yeah, he'll be on a streak if
Here
he
comes the
comes back.
money. What would you do if you heard that?
Oh my
It's
god,
like
be the greatest moment of
3,
2023.
2, 1. Cha-ching. Here comes the money.
I
Here we
mean,
go.
you started 2022 with Shane. You might as well start 2023 with Shane.
I'd lose it.
One more thing before I don't know what we'll go into next. We got a pretty short episode for you this week.
Yeah.
It's the lack of J-Bone. He usually takes us to like the 3-hour mark, but
Yeah.
you might only get a few, maybe an hour or so with us tonight. But another big topic that we wanted to talk about is just a quick preview of Raw is 30 next week. It's already looking like a pretty stacked show. Can't lie there. As I'm pulling up, or at least trying to pull up a graphic of the legends that we will be seeing this Monday at Raw is 30. Here we go.
The same old class of people we usually see.
Well, I mean, a little different. You know, we've got Kurt Angle. Yes, he's definitely
Usually there.
a regular. We have the Bella Twins. Teddy Long's making an appearance.
Holla holla.
Lawler's there. Great. You know, you got your X-Pac and Road Dogg. Ron Simmons, cool to see him.
Like that.
Shawn Michaels, and I guess the two biggest names that have kind of stood out here is the return of Ric Flair.
Yep.
He's back. And I guess this is his first real like legend appearance of The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
It's
pretty
huge.
sure that's the first time that he's been like presented as a WWE legend. Or you know what I mean, Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I think he opens. I think he opens the show.
I think he has to.
Yeah. Because the end, which we'll talk about soon, the celebration for the tribal chief, I think is going to be something spectacular.
Oh, okay. So, here's what we're gonna do.
Well, do you want to get into because of the Sami Zayn stuff? Do you want to get into that before we get into the? Do you think that'll interact with the celebration?
Yeah, sure. Oh, before we get into anything, Bloodline, just real quick, do you think anything of substance is going to happen with any of these legends? Like, can you predict any segments? The only thing that I can really think of is I think we're gonna get an Undertaker, Uncle Howdy kind of stare off.
Think so?
I think that's what we'll get.
Huh.
They're building up this motherfucker, Uncle Howdy.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
We'll probably get the Bellas and Damage Control interacting. or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
We'll get hopefully we get an APA reunion with Farouk and Bradshaw.
Oh, that would be
Definitely want to see that because I mean, come on, Bradshaw's back on TV.
Yeah.
No excuses. Maybe they have a poker game. All the legends
That's
are sitting
what I'm
around.
thinking is we'll
Randy
have a
Orton comes in with his
poker
night vision goggles and beats the shit out of everyone like he did.
God damn.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. They made a whole figure over that shit.
But
Didn't they make a figure like they put the glasses on?
yeah,
and
they
all
had
that?
the night vision goggles.
I remember watching that.
Oh, Randy, you're a devious man.
Let's
Let's see. That might be a
Kurt
surprise
Angle and
return.
Alpha Academy. Oh, what was that, Mark?
That might be a surprise return. You never know.
Surprise
Randy
return.
Orton might show up at the Rumble. But let's see. Alpha Academy. They already did that with Kurt Angle.
Well, they'll
They
do
might-
it again.
yeah, they might,
always do something with them.
Yeah, that's a possibility. But it seems like they're turning them face.
Seems like it,
It
yes.
seems like it. It seems like they're having a face run, which I'm excited for.
So
Because-
maybe, okay, I don't think it'll happen, but what if turning Alpha Academy face opens the door for a Kurt Angle manager role?
I like that.
Maybe.
I like it.
Um,
Who else? Who else is there?
Teddy Long's gonna make a tag match.
Teddy Long. He's probably going to call the Undertaker out.
So do we think
the
that we're getting
Undertaker?
Undertaker like dead man make his entrance, or is he gonna come out as the? Is
As
he
Mark?
gonna come
As
out
Mark? Just regular
That's
Mark?
awesome.
Yeah.
All that rough through you.
That's awesome.
It's the 30th anniversary of Raw. That's awesome.
That would be hilarious. Oh my god. That's awesome.
She does the faith breaker better than you. Oh, that's what we need. We need a Michelle McCool and AJ Styles stare down.
I think
I
she's
know he's
supposed to be
injured,
there.
but just bring him back for one night so that we can have the two of them stare
Oh,
down.
Oh,
And you
my
just
God.
have Undertaker in the background, just egging him on, like Alan Jones. She does the Styles Clash better than you.
Oh my god.
Rest in peace. That's awesome.
That's oh. If he doesn't say that's awesome on Monday, I'll be very upset. That's awesome.
You know what we got to do is have the Undertaker and Roman Reigns interact, and instead of the whole Alan Jones thing, he can just go Joe Anoa'i, if that is your real name. Are you just mad because I do the spear better than you? Michelle McCool has a better spear than you.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That's
my God.
awesome.
That's awesome. Rest in peace.
Oh man. Hilarious. Oh god.
The three best impressions of the Raw down: Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, and The Undertaker.
Oh my god.
Gonna get
Did-
these turns.
Booker T gonna be there, you think?
Oh, he'll be there. Yeah,
He should be, right?
yeah. I mean, he's a commentator for. I mean, they'll do like the whole, that they've been doing it recently. That like they have a guest commentator for a match or something.
Oh yeah.
And
King
they'll do.
Lawler.
Here's your guest commentator, Jerry Lawler.
Yeah. I can
Yeah.
see that.
They'll do that.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
then what's Rick doing?
It's a good question. I don't even know.
What
does he
can he
interact
do? What is he allowed to do?
Trying to think of who he would interact with. What young star or stars does he interact
Lacey Evans.
No, please God, no. Don't bring that back up. I mean, Charlotte isn't on Raw, so
I'm sure they'll pull strings to make her the Raw champion for that night.
maybe he'll
Just
do
to get her on TV. Woo!
maybe they'll have him probably team up with the Street Profits or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And Montez will offer him his solo cup.
Yeah, keep those.
Like, take a sip of this.
Keep those red cups away from old Ric Flair.
I kiss the girls and make them cry.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
What are we? All right, so we want to get into. You wanted to talk about Sammy first, and then move into
Yeah,
your
I want to.
predict- Before you do your big prediction, I'll hit the hot take button for you because I'm sure you're the only.
Well,
person-
I'm not going to do the prediction yet because I want to talk about
All right.
Sammy.
Well, just prompt me for it. I'll have the.
and
button
your
ready.
thoughts on what is transpiring. Because if you watch SmackDown,
Yes.
Sammy had this fantastic match with Kevin Owens.
Yep.
A lot of back
story.
and forth. Boom, boom, boom. No help from the Bloodline on the outside. Kevin Owens in the corner getting set up for a big haluga kick. What happens? the Bloodline enters.
Bloodline comes in.
Costs Sami Zayn the match. Now, you want to talk about seed planting, right? You see the pictures of when they're doing the one standing over Kevin Owens and Kevin Owens
Grabbing
is
his
like
shoe.
kind of grabbing his shoe, that type of thing. And you see like Sami Zayn kind of like, what the hell's going on, blah, blah. You said no one's going to be here, blah, blah. My thoughts are, Roman Reigns, he said he isn't, he's not, let the crowd cheer for, Sami. Yeah, that's fine. Do whatever. Total opposite. He does not want the fans cheering for Sami, let alone he does not want Sami Zayn to be the one to beat Kevin Owens all by himself. And that's where the crossroad, because I'm kind of curious to see what the interaction looks like on Friday. Does Sami Zayn confront Roman and say like, "Hey, what the hell? I thought you said like, no one's going to be around. I had this all by myself." And then is Roman Reigns going to give him that little brother talk, like, "You look like you needed some help out there, so we were there to help you. You're our family now," that type of thing. And then that questions, and then then you have you have a whole week until the Royal Rumble, right? Actually happens. So you have next week. What happens between that? Does Sami Zayn enter the Rumble? We don't know what's happening with the Bloodline. Are they having a tag team match? Probably not. Solo's probably going to be in the Rumble. Sami's going to be in the Rumble. I'm assuming the Usos are going to be in the Rumble. And I think that's where things break down right there, because KO's not going to be in the Rumble.
He
But
could
there's
be in the Rumble, technically.
He could be because Roman and Baron Corbin did that. They did the first match, and then they were in the Rumble later on Royal Rumble 2020, so that's a possibility. But yeah, I don't know, man. Is Sami starting to realize that he isn't part of the family? That they don't want him to win. They don't want him to be successful. Well, maybe they do, but Roman doesn't. And Roman being the master manipulator, is he playing all them like he's done to Jay in the past? Like he's done to Jimmy. He hasn't done that to Solo because, he might be a little bit afraid of Solo. He doesn't really speak or show any emotion. But he can definitely manipulate Sami, and it's looking that way. So I don't know. And what are your thoughts on this whole? It was kind of interesting that the dynamic of that, like, it's all by yourself, Sami. You got this. And then out of nowhere, boom. It's like, what the? I thought I had this by myself.
Well, let's not forget that I was the one who said a few weeks ago, what if Sami turns on Roman? And everyone said, no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Not in a heel turn way, but like a, kind of snap out of the.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like Roman's not going to attack him.
Yeah.
Sami
He's just going to get pissed off and fed up. Oh, he might.
Be fed up. That's what I meant. No.
Okay.
But
yeah, what are your thoughts? Because it's very interesting this the way this played out. Like, did Roman not say anything to them? Like, did he say did he tell them?
No, he definitely.
No, I mean, did he tell them to go out there? But then he told Sami that no one was going to be out there. So now he's playing two. Because they're like, yeah, come on, we got you. We're going to help you. But they didn't get that message that Sami was supposed to be by himself.
Right.
So they're out there thinking like, oh, man, we're helping our honorary Uso. We're helping our honorary Uso out. Not knowing that they didn't get that message that Sami was supposed to be by himself. They were told something else. They were told to go help.
My thought is that, well, let's not forget, Sami went backstage to Paul, to the Bloodline locker room. Only Paul Heyman was there.
Yeah.
And he told them that they weren't going to be there tonight.
Yeah.
And, they want him to just focus on Kevin Owens, focus on getting the win, prove yourself.
Well, Roman said this to him. He said Roman wants him to, do it by himself. He didn't say the whole Bloodline.
But then here comes the Usos and everyone. So I think, that this was just them setting up Sammy. They're using him. This was a perfect example of how they use him.
Yep.
That, they get him in the mindset of this is just him and Kevin Owens tonight. He is going to leave it all in the ring just to prove that he's better than Kevin Owens, and he wants to prove himself to Roman Reigns and the rest of the bloodline. And then here comes the bloodline to pick up off of I don't even know how long that match was, but basically Sammy weakened Kevin Owens so that the bloodline can take advantage and, officially, just attack him and put him through the table. Because you also see the Usos going you did good. Good job. You did.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
This is about
right.
proving himself.
Yeah.
For Sammy. But he's going to soon realize that he doesn't need to prove he doesn't need to prove his worth to Roman. He doesn't need to prove his worth to the bloodline. He needs to prove his worth to himself.
Yeah.
So now that kind of ties us into Raw is 30. Raw is XXX, whatever.
Yeah, Raw is triple X. Yeah, can't wait.
I think we both have predictions on this because you said someone might be coming out. I'm going to let you do yours in a moment, but I do want to give my kind of prediction because I'm all fucked up on how this story is going to go. Because this is the perfect opportunity for them to go ahead and do Roman versus Sammy at Mania. They are setting this up so perfectly, but they don't want to do it. And I get that why they don't want to do it.
Yeah, it's not.
You have Dwayne right there.
Yeah.
But this is legit the perfect fucking way to take this is a golden opportunity. If you wanted to, convince your audience that Roman could lose, it's against Sammy. So what I'm thinking, even, whoever, it's going to end up being The Rock, but whatever happens, what I'm thinking happens is I don't want to say that, you see, this is where it gets tough because Elimination Chamber's happening in 2-3 weeks? That's not enough time to set up Roman and Sammy after the Rumble. So what I was going to say was that if they want to get this match ready in time, this Monday you have the acknowledgement ceremony. All the generations of the Anoa'i family are in the ring, and they all raise their finger, except for Sammy. Sammy doesn't acknowledge him. And, I guess either you have him turn on Roman or Roman turns on him and gets him out of the Rumble, but would you want him in the Rumble? How does that set up Elimination Chamber? These are all questions that you don't have enough time for because you're setting up a match for Elimination Chamber and not WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm sorry. Rock and Roman I'm going to keep saying it. Rock and Roman is the money match. Yes. That's the match that should happen at WrestleMania, or the match that's going to happen at Mania. But you've spent so much time building up this story. Don't hotshot it. Don't ruin it now. That's to say if any of this actually happens before Mania to begin with. Maybe we don't even get Roman versus Sammy at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Maybe this happens at SummerSlam. Who knows?
Yeah.
This can extend into SummerSlam for sure.
Yep. It's a possibility.
You have a prediction.
Yeah, well, the thing with Sammy too is the way the storyline's going, it'd be, a Mania match would be, it's in the cards for a Mania match, because that's how we're seeing it now, right? But that's how we're seeing it play out. Something's gonna happen. Someone's gonna turn on one or the other. It doesn't matter. It's gonna all come crumbling down at some point. But I always go back to Sammy wasn't even supposed to be a part of this at all. He's technically like an addition. Right. He's a cameo player. He's a cameo star in a movie or a show. So he could easily be taken out. I know they've invested so much into it already, but I don't think a blow off has to happen at, like you said, at Mania, even though it has been like building and all that stuff. But I think it can play out a little bit longer. I think
Right.
they can pull on Sami's heartstrings a little bit more and manipulate him a little bit more. And did he not prove himself as much as he was like he thought he did? Does he have to do more now? Does he have to like completely eliminate? Does he have to like get in? Maybe he gets involved in the match with at Royal Rumble.
Mhm.
Maybe Roman and Kevin are going at it, and Sami Zayn comes out, and that's the tipping point there. That sets up maybe the match at Elimination Chamber. Like, you interrupted my match. You think I need your help to beat Kevin Owens? That type of thing.
If they hold this off until SummerSlam, Roman and Sami,
Yeah.
I'll be fine with Roman Rock at Mania.
Yep.
Because I'm sorry. I get it. Like, you want to do it in Montreal. It's hometown. Yes.
Just to have him lose.
Right. But it's not even just the point of him losing, because he's going to lose regardless.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of, why would you do it on a show where you know that he's going to lose? The whole point of wrestling is to expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
But you're going in expecting Roman to win. After this long ass story that you've built up,
Yeah.
you're just going to have him like such an what did I compare it to a few weeks ago that I said it's like you watch the greatest movie of all time, and then all of a sudden the main character breaks the fourth wall and looks right into the camera and says, well, this is exactly how the film's going to go. I'm about to beat the bad guy. I'll see you in a minute. And he beats the bad guy.
Yeah.
Or in this case, beats the good guy. I don't know. That's why if we wait until SummerSlam, I'll be cool with it, because the only two places where moments like this happen are Mania and SummerSlam. It does. Sami Zayn winning the WWE Championship doesn't happen at Extreme Rules.
No.
It doesn't happen at Crown Jewel.
No.
I mean, maybe it could.
It's possible.
It's possible nowadays, but it doesn't happen at tables, ladders, and chairs. It happens at either WrestleMania or it happens at SummerSlam, because those are your biggest shows. It doesn't even happen at the Rumble or Survivor Series. Maybe Survivor Series. It doesn't happen at the Rumble. It happens at WrestleMania or SummerSlam. Any other thoughts on this Raw is 30?
Yeah, so we'll get into the my prediction, but then we're also forgetting that the Usos are defending their Raw tag team championships, not the SmackDown tag team. It's not the Undisputed they're defending. It's the Raw tag team titles.
And there's a tournament to crown the number one contender for the SmackDown tag team championships. Go ahead.
So seems like they are planting the seeds of the split the titles back up. And then we've also heard rumors of them kind of getting the WWE Championship off of Roman, or making that a separate title going into WrestleMania, which we'll probably find out after Royal Rumble. Maybe, who knows if that's when we'll know. We're not going to know before Royal Rumble, because then you have the Elimination Chamber and then obviously WrestleMania. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you? Do you think they lose? Do they lose the Raw Tag Team Championships?
I hope so.
And that sours the Tribal Chiefs acknowledgement ceremony going into it.
You know something? If they wanted to extend this story with the Bloodline, have the Usos lose the titles.
Yeah.
Because that takes away the emphasis on Sami, and Sami's kind of like,
yeah.
And now Roman is like, we need to address the elephant. We got my whole family here, but it seems like my whole family's not here for me. And then Sami's just sitting there, and he's like, he's biting his nails, and then he turns and he looks at the Usos, and he's like, you guys couldn't get the job done. What happened? And Sammy's like, yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree. Absolutely, they should have won. And like that could extend it a little bit.
That could
'Cause I
happen.
don't even think we're at the point where like Roman can turn on Sammy yet. I feel like we're still teasing it. Like even what happened 2 weeks ago when Sammy was like, I need to apologize. It was completely my fault. And then Roman's like, no, I'm not going to accept your apology.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to apologize to you.
Yeah.
That apology right there, that's my apology.
You're not going to apologize. You can't apologize to me. I'm apologizing to you. That's my apology.
Hear me out. I'm going to apologize to you.
The other way it can go too is Sammy thinks that's the crowning moment of him becoming an Uso. That's the other thing. He could ruin it that way as well. Like, because all the generations of the bloodline are there. It's a perfect moment for Sammy to become and move his position from honorary to full blown news. But he did technically lose to Kevin Owens, so I can see that not happening. But so my other prediction is
okay. Do I have to?
Is it really a hot take?
I think it is.
All right, go ahead.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
Okay. See,
I also just haven't hit that button in a while.
So I don't know if we get a video or we get a mention or we get something. So he is good. So obviously we're there to acknowledge the tribal chief Roman Reigns, right? But I think during that ceremony, they are going to acknowledge someone else that may or may not be there. If that person is not there, they're gonna say it. If that person, if he's there, obviously he's gonna be there and he's gonna, show up in whatever capacity. But he is going to be mentioned. You can't have all generations of the bloodline, right? Knowing who is out there. Obviously, there's other Fatus and stuff and other wrestling organizations. There's other cousins and all that stuff and so they may not be there. But anyone associated with the WWE bloodline should be there to acknowledge the tribal chief. And my prediction is we will get either A, The Rock at Raw 30, not like physically there, probably like a video thing, or they're gonna mention it. Everyone's there except for one. The Rock don't want to acknowledge the tribe. Like, he's gonna get mentioned, and that's gonna set it has to. There's no way you can't have the whole bloodline there and not mention or show The Rock. It's unfathomable at this point. There's no way that doesn't happen. Where do you see a world where you have we got a special surprise for you, tribal chief. We got a real special surprise. So the way he said it only leads me to believe that something's happening. Something's happening during that. And I'd be pissed off if it's a stupid Kevin Owens crashing it. I'd be so mad if that happens because that's predictable. What's unpredictable is if you smell what The Rock is cooking. And then it's going to happen, dude. It's Rumble season. It's the road to WrestleMania. The perfect time to bring this dude back into the fold is this the ceremony of all the generations of the bloodline. Tell me I'm wrong.
Wrong.
How's that wrong?
But let me tell you why.
Oh my God.
I don't think they're going to do it that way. The Rock's going to get mentioned. Now all the pieces are kind of aligning.
You can't mention. I mean, he's going to be mentioned either when he's there or not. He's going to be brought. The Roman Reigns is going to say his name, and that's going to set everything forward. I'm telling you, dude.
No, you want to know how it's going to happen here. See this, like in a world where we weren't booking towards Roman and Sammy at Elimination Chamber, this is how this is going to happen. You're going to have the older bloodline members in the ring, right? Like, your Rikishis and whoever else is alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not good with the names, but
Samoans.
the Bloodline comes out. It's this big, Samoan thing. Maybe the Usos even bring out that Samoan entrance again. You remember the?
Oh yeah, the whole dance and all that stuff. That'd be pretty cool.
Maybe they bring that back.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
It's gonna be.
So wait, hold on. So the Bloodline comes out, and then we get like a nice moment. Roman's like, it's my family, and y'all gonna acknowledge me. And then they give like Rikishi the mic, and Rikishi's talking about the Samoan heritage, but then he's like, "We acknowledge you," and then everyone raises their finger, and then Roman gets the mic again, and he's like, we're talking family. I got my whole family here tonight. But no, this is not my whole family. And then Kevin Owens' music hits.
See,
it's just going to plant the seed. Because you can't... this is what we were just talking about with Cody Rhodes. Like, you just announced that Cody Rhodes is coming to the Royal Rumble, and you announced it.
Yeah.
Now you have to let The Rock stay as a surprise. If you're right, if they're doing this acknowledgement ceremony, he needs to be mentioned in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So you do it the CM Punk Darby Allin way. That Darby Allin is cutting a promo, and he's just like, I could beat everyone, even if you're the best in the world. Buy a ticket to the Royal Rumble. Go get down to fucking Alabama.
I mean,
that's them telling you indirectly, yes, he's going to be there. Watch this Saturday.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, he has to be.
You just need that little thing.
That, like,
the tiniest thing.
It'd be like, I'm the tribal chief. I'm the head of the table. Hell, I might even be the great one. Hell, I might even be the people's champ or something like that. Like something just like taking all these names and stuff like that. And it's like, and you're like, oh, I see where this is going. All right, okay.
Yeah, and then you can have just like, Rock wins the Rumble, and he looks into the camera or something. I could see it clear as day. He looks into the camera. He's like, he just says something just clever, just like he like points his finger, and he just goes, and then he poses, points at that's what's gonna happen. Boom, booking it right now. He puts his finger up, and then he goes like this, and then he points at the WrestleMania sign. We'll see you in Hollywood.
I know this is a crazy booking idea, because this is probably have never been done before that I can remember from any years of the Royal Rumble. But what if the Royal Rumble match is not the main event of the Royal Rumble? What if they switch it up a little bit? What if it's Roman and Kevin Owens as the main event match? What if after the match, instead of having The Rock win the Rumble, if you want someone else to win it, right? What if after the match, he does his ceremony, they put the necklace on him and all that stuff, and then you hear if you smell, and then that sets up you get the goosebumps, you get the crowd goes nuts, then you get the stare down in the ring.
Maybe,
but I don't think they would put the Royal Rumble not on last. That's always like the main event of the Royal Rumble.
If they put that on last, they're basically just saying that he's going to come out.
Yeah, that's kind of that's telling you that something crazy is going to happen if that's true. Damn it.
One more question I want to ask before we kind of start wrapping things up here. If Rock does win the Rumble, who does he eliminate last?
Probably Sami Zayn. I don't know.
I was thinking maybe Sami. Like,
maybe one of the Bloodline members. Maybe like Solo or some shit.
Maybe
Solo or the Usos. So it has to be someone that has affiliated with the Bloodline.
Yeah, I guess so. I think it's probably going to be Sami, right? Like, I think that.
Yeah. Oh no, but then the crowd will boo the shit out of The Rock, though. That's something you don't want to happen.
Oh yeah.
That'll be so you can't have him eliminate Sami. You would have to.
Who's a contender right now?
The only thing I can think of is if because they did this before. Roman opens the actual. No, because usually the women's Royal Rumble is first, right? Is that how they usually do it?
I mean,
Or do
yeah,
they usually?
technically.
I was gonna say you could have Roman, or maybe Roman's match is at. I don't know, because you could have Sami Zayn come back in the Rumble later on and eliminate. I mean, yeah, Kevin Owens come back and eliminate Sami, and then someone eliminate him, and then The Rock would have to eliminate a heel. He can't eliminate any faces.
Right, yeah.
If he eliminates Cody, might not be such a people might not boo it, but he eliminates Sami Zayn. That WrestleMania is doomed.
Like it's either Sami, or honestly, I hope he eliminates Sami, because in that case they're gonna have to force Sami Zayn into the WrestleMania match. I'm kidding.
Yeah, true.
It's either gonna be Sami or like
it has to be a heel.
Rollins. I don't know. Maybe Theory.
It's a possibility. Yeah, Theory might be in the Rumble.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think the runner-up really matters in this case. Like, regardless who it is.
And that's the thing. That's why I don't think we don't need The Rock in the Rumble. We don't need him to win the Royal Rumble. We just need him to show up. That's it. He doesn't need to win, because then now you got to fucking you're damaging The Rock if he throws somebody out that the fans love right now. That's it happened. It happened in Roman, dude. when freaking Daniel Bryan got eliminated. That was it. That was it for Roman for a while anyway. So you can't do it. Even
what if, I don't mean to cut you off, but again, the gears are going in my head. What if, like you said, Rock doesn't need to be in the Rumble. What if Sami wins the Royal Rumble, right? Maybe this Monday, Roman could be like, or even this Friday, he could be like, I booked you for the Rumble.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? It's like, I put you in the Rumble. And I put you in the Rumble because you're going to win the Rumble, so I don't have to fight at WrestleMania. And he wins the Royal Rumble. So, we're thinking like, Roman's like, I don't have to fight anybody. Sami Zayn just proved his worth to me, this, that, and the third. And then The Rock comes out, whenever, and he's like, I want to fight The Rock, or The Rock wants to fight Roman. And that kind of leaves Sami like, but I won the Royal Rumble. Like, I'm supposed to fight you, technically.
Yeah.
But Roman's like, no, you were just here to make sure I don't fight anyone else. But this is my WrestleMania.
That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping there's a scenario where they're all in the Rumble. Like, I'm hoping the Usos are in it. I'm hoping Solo's in it. I'm hoping Sami Zayn is in it, because that's going to be the storytelling there. Do they team together and toss everyone else out?
I don't know.
And then they're the last ones in the ring? Do they collectively eliminate themselves for Roman, so he doesn't have there's a lot of things you can do if they're all right?
This Rumble is going to be good. I just feel it.
Yeah, it's because there's so much riding on this Bloodline storyline thing, and like the impending, entrance of The Rock at some point. Who knows when the hell that's going to happen? It has to either be before Rumble or at Rumble. He has to show up.
Yeah.
It can't be after.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's going to happen. But I'm telling you, they're going to start planting the seeds on Monday for The Rock to return. Because he's going to, there's everyone's here. I got my cousins. I got my uncles. I got my father. But there's one person that's not here. And I think we should acknowledge that. And then you know who it is. It's Tamina. with Tamina. No, I'm
You hear
kidding.
Tamina's music.
No, Nia Jax. I'm not like
Oh,
most
gosh.
girls. And Nia Jax comes out.
That would be hilarious. Oh my god! Wait, does she like? Are we talking like like is Tamina and Nia Jax gonna be there? Like, if we're talking everyone from the bloodline,
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a
don't
good question. Because I know, well, if Tamina's there, she's, The Rock, they if you watch like on social media, they're like really close. Like
Yeah.
they have like a close really bought her a house, car, all
Right,
that stuff.
yeah.
He takes care of her, like stuff like that. And Nia Jax is technically the only person that's blood related to The Rock.
right?
Whereas like The Rock's grandfather and the Fatu, the head of Fatu, they're blood brothers. They're not like obviously, they're not they're not blood related. They're just like, honorary, combine their families together, essentially. If you read like the history of like the Samoan dynasty and stuff. So yeah, I can see like Roman kind of like going, you know what? Like he doesn't have to be here. He's not really family, like to The Rock or whatever. That type of thing. You can do that. Kind of like Sami Zayn here. He's not really and then he kind of throws a shot at Sami Zayn and who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. This is
We'll see what
interesting.
happens. It's gonna be fun, but
I'm excited for this news that's going to happen on Monday. What the Usos have planned, I don't know. That's the thing. They said it. We got a real big surprise for you, Us. So who knows what's going to happen? Maybe a stink face from Rikishi. Who knows?
Oh God, man. Look, I don't really want to waste time on doing this. Who won the week? I mean, who do you just real quick? Who do you think won this week?
SmackDown. I'll go SmackDown.
SmackDown.
Yeah, 'cause the main event was really good. The Sami and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, you got a point.
I mean, the main event of Raw was good too, with the like that kind of like it was like an elimination match that they had.
The elimination match. Nah, I'll give it a SmackDown.
Yeah, SmackDown it is.
All right, it has been decided. And with that being said,
Hey, yo.
it's time to end the show, folks. Thank you so much for tuning into yet another edition of the RAWDOWN. Marco, what do you got going on for the Chick Foley show?
Like I said at the beginning, new episode of the Chick Foley show, mailbag episode. So we answer some listener mail. A lot of variety of questions. Some personal that we kind of all tiptoed around. I'm not going to give you any more hints than that, but it's pretty funny. Everyone was kind of like shooing it off to them. Hey, what do you think about this question? What do you think about this one? But yeah, so yeah, definitely listen for that. I'll eventually get back to the open mic. Hopefully next week we'll get an episode recorded. Definitely want to get back in the swing of things in the new year for that. Other than that, check us out on Chick Foley Show on Twitter and Chick Foley on IG, Chick Foley Show. chickfoley.com. Join the Facebook group as well. Don't forget about the Pod Foundation. I know we talked about, Turnbuckle Tavern, but we also have the Extra Cooler Show, which is also a great show. Coming down the aisle with J-Bone. Obviously, he's not here, but we'll plug him anyway because, he's a swell guy sometimes.
Yeah.
But, support everyone.
Yeah.
Love everyone.
Yeah, I'll plug the man. You can find him over at comingdowntheaislepod.com. He's got his episode coming out tomorrow. Right? Does it drop on Friday still?
Yeah.
He's got his episode coming out tomorrow. I don't know what he's going to be talking about or who his guest is. You would think he would give me this information so I could plug him properly, but
No, he doesn't.
Regardless, support. I'm sure he's doing another one of the lists soon, so or maybe he already dropped a list. I really should be paying attention to what you guys are doing, but fuck. The next time he'll be sure to give me better info to plug. No, I'm just kidding. Make sure you listen to his podcast and everything. He's got some great stuff. Over at comingdowntheaislepod.com. And of course, Chick Foley's show, Extra Cooler, Coming Down the Aisle, and the Turnbuckle Tavern are all part of the Pod Foundation. Support your Pod Foundation. Listen to everyone. If you listen to one, you might as well listen to them all.
Yeah.
All great content. Use your promo codes wherever they apply over on, Chalkline, and I know that
Ringside
has, the Chick Foley code and the
Turnbuckle code.
The Turnbuckle code. So everyone's got their codes and shit.
Support everybody.
Support goes
Doesn't
a long
matter.
way. And with that being said, folks, if you like what you heard, and I know that you did, make sure that you check out the turnbuckletavern.com, not that graphic, this one, the turnbuckletavern.com. That is your number one hub to get all of your podcasts, to get all of your YouTube videos, to get all of your Discord messages, although Discord is apparently down right now. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, we're on all of them. Support, join the community, talk to us. Let us know what you think of our shows. Buy our merch at ProWrestlingTees.com/tavern. You can get a shirt for everyone. It might break the bank, but it's worth it. Get a shirt for me, get a shirt for Marco, for J-Bone, for Tom, for Chads, for Mike, for everyone. Get a shirt for everyone. Show your true support by going over to ProWrestlingTees.com/tavern. While you're at it, go on over to Teespring, where you can get the other merch. You got the RAWDOWN logo. You got your stickers and a whole slew, whatever it's called, whatever the word is. A whole boatload of great merch that you can get, courtesy of the RAWDOWN. Of course, Mr. Backlash is always a fun one, and more merch on the way. I'll just tell you that. Also, call the Tavern. 304-404-2004 is the number to call to hear your message played on the flagship show. Call the Tavern, leave us a voicemail, tell us what you think of today's episode of the RAWDOWN. Let us know, is the show better without J-Bone? You might have to make some adjustments and keep the man away from the show. If maybe we don't need him anymore. Maybe it's time to evolve. Because after all, you either adapt or you perish. That is evolution. Evolution is a mystery. Just kidding. J-Bone will be back next week. But until then, tell us what you thought of today's episode at 304-404-2004. Once again, that's 304-404-2004. Call the Tavern. Get your voice heard. Folks, this was a fun episode of the RAWDOWN, as it always is. But next week is a big one.
Yeah.
Oh, how it's a big one. We are going to review Raw 30. I'm sure there will be more news to discuss. But even more than all that, the Royal Rumble predictions.
Oh, boy.
As this bad boy will be on the line, I will defend my RAWDOWN championship yet again, successfully, yet again. I think I'm on the longest reigning streak of the RAWDOWN championship.
You might be. Yeah,
I might be.
When did you win it? Survivors? Was it before Survivor Series? Or
It might have been before Survivor Series.
yeah, and the Survivor Series was the last pay-per-view for last year.
I'm excited to finally defend this title. It's been too long. I've been brocking this.
Yeah. Yes, you have.
So I'm gonna have to throw it in a random triple threat at the Rumble, but no biggie. I'll come out victorious, as I always do, because I am the tag team champion.
It's gonna be tough,
folks. We will see you on the next episode of the RAWDOWN. But until then, as always,
Life sucks, and then you die.